Let's get to know the calligraphy fountain pen. This is an exciting time to actually begin to use a calligraphy pen, and the set that I recommend is the Manuscript Deluxe Calligraphy Set. And let's open it up, and we have the main pen here. Little storage tin. The pen has several parts. The nib, which is here, and this set comes with the medium nib installed. I'm not going to use that pen to start. And then we have the barrel, and we have the cap, and there's a little decorative ring here, gold decorative ring as well. The nib that I recommend that we start with and is used in the exercises is the 2B nib. It's a fairly wide nib. And in addition to that nib, we also have a 3B and a 4B nib, which are extremely wide, a broad nib, of course the medium, which was what came on the pen when I took it out of the package, and a fine nib, which would be used for everyday handwriting. We have a couple, or actually we have four cartridges, a black cartridge, a blue, a red, and a green. And we also have an adapter here for filling the pen from an ink bottle, and I'll show you how to use that as well. The ink that I recommend is the Pelikan 4001, which is available on my Amazon store. Now, to begin, let's use the black cartridge, and what you do to load this is that you put the first cartridge in the barrel, and I'm going to use the blue for this, and the little color end goes on the outside, and then this cartridge goes in like this. I want you to see exactly how that is. The first one goes in this manner, like that. That in first, and then this goes in there. If you put this first one in incorrectly, if you put it in this way, it's likely to get stuck in the barrel and difficult to remove. This gives you just the right amount of space. This first cartridge is just put into the barrel for a spacer, and then this cartridge goes on here. Then I want to make certain that I have this little decorative ring on there, and then all that we need to do is to screw the barrel onto the nib, and when you do that, the nib will puncture the cartridge and allow the ink to flow to the nib of the pen. So I'm going to set this aside. Now, when we use the pen, it's a good idea not to put the cap on the barrel. It's much better to use the pen in this manner, and what we want to do is to try to get the pen started, and to do that I kind of drop it down onto this. I have several sheets of paper here. I'm not jabbing the pen down, but I'm just letting it drop, and look at there, the ink has started to flow. And so if you can see what I can do here, experiment with the pen, see how you hold the pen to make a thick line, and how you hold the pen to make a thin line. And basically the thick line is pulling and the thin line is sliding sideways. And so, take the pen and do some doodles with it. Doodle with the pen, see what happens, if you make an X like this or a zigzag shape, see if you can make a plus sign where it's not too thick and it's not too thin. You can see this illustrated in my book. This nib is writing really well, and it was very easy to do. Very easy to get this nib started. Sometimes it's difficult to get the nib started, and so I have a little trick for that. What you can do is unscrew the barrel and then gently squeeze the cartridge until you see a little bubble of ink start to form down here on the nib. You don't want to squeeze so much that the ink actually falls out, that actually pours out of the end, but just enough to where you begin to see a little droplet of ink form here. Another trick is to take your finger and gently push on the top. And you see how this nib is flowing so well that I got some calligrapher's hand lotion on my finger. That's what I call the ink that gets on our fingers as we use the pen. So here we are. This nib works beautifully, beautifully. And play with the pen. Make all kinds of doodles. Draw boxes, draw plus signs. Fill a whole sheet with doodles with the pen till you get very, very comfortable with it. Okay. Now I also want to demonstrate filling the pen from the ink bottle. And to do this, I'm going to have to remove these nibs. Remove these cartridges, I mean. That cartridge wasn't used. This cartridge is already punctured, and so I want very carefully to pull that cartridge away from the nib. I don't want that ink to pour out of there. And then what you do is take the adapter and insert it in the back of the nib and push to where it you can tell that it's snug. Alright, so like that. And then this part of the nib, you want to submerge the nib all the way up to the little black plastic part there, and hold it here, and then pull out on this little plunger. And I may have to do it a couple times to kind of break it in. There we go. I'm drawing ink up into that. You can see, you can actually see that ink is drawn up into there. Little paper towels would be helpful here, which I don't have right at my fingertips. But now, at first, the ink may come out too fast, and you just want to doodle with it a little bit and get it to where it's flowing smoothly and easily. There. This is just perfect. So that's the introduction to the pen. And of course the storage of the pen, just put the cap on and there you go. Put it in your pocket or your purse. One other thing, if you want to clean the nibs, just use warm water. Don't use any soap or anything like that. All of these inks are water soluble and rinse out very easily. The Pelikan 4001 ink is a dye ink. It's not a carbon-based ink, and so it really will not clog the pen. But if you feel like you want to give the pen nibs a little bath, just use warm water and soft paper towel. That's all that you need. And so enjoy playing with the pen. You feel comfortable writing with the pen.